Hi everyone, it's me, B Atikali Sunflower. So I'm on to do a video response to Liz, and her channel is called Westar Tarot. The name of the response is called Small Decks, Large Decks, Square Decks, Round Decks, and Unusual Shaped Tarot and Oracle Decks. I've actually added playing cards as well, because I've got quite a lot of playing cards that are unusually shaped. So in no particular order, I'm going to start off with my square decks. So the first deck that I want to show you was gifted to me by Julie from the Peekaboo Rose channel. It's actually called the Bitmoji Lenormand, but I call it Mini Me because it's emojis of me, Bossaday. As you can see, it's a square deck. These are the backs of the cards, which again is my Bitmoji and my cats. It's basically a Lenormand deck that's small and square. It's got playing card associations. And Julie created this for me many years ago. So thanks, Julie. So for each kind of Lenormand archetype, there's my Bitmoji there. So that's the house. This is the letter. The garden. The star. The stalk. Such a beautiful little deck. The heart. The key. Okay, so this is called the Bitmoji Lenormand, but I call it Mini Me. So the next deck I'd like to show you is called the Oracle of Nicholania. This is a very old deck. It came in this beautiful bag and a guidebook which has got a lot of information. This is a deck that I have to use with a guidebook because there's limited information on the cards. These are the backs of the deck, which are she shells. As you can see, it's very square. Got the warrior, the treasurer, the throne, the stone. Let me show you what the guidebook says for this card, just so I can give you a feel of what the guidebook's about. So I'll read it out to you. Keyword, contract. Card description. I've got here, the stone is a symbol of promises, commitment, contracts, keeping one's word, bureaucratic or judicial affairs, documents, papers, and every kind of formal agreement. So it's basically a formal agreement card. The guidebook also gives like a quick guide, like a one-word keyword guide, and it gives you spreads to use as well. And it's all about the goddess of Nicholania. It's also written in Spanish as well, so it's a kind of bilingual guidebook. This next square deck was a Kickstarter deck, and it's called My Garden Deck by Pure Molly. I've had this deck for years. 78 hand-drawn cards offering you portals into imaginary backyards where you can learn about yourself, your choices, and your true desires. If I can remember, I think this deck came with a PDF guidebook of some sort. I haven't used it for a while. So the cards are square. It's a marinated deck. I think the creator was mixed race, if I can remember. But this is a deck that I might want to revisit at some point. It's beautiful. Four of Wands. The Emperor. It's also a feminine deck. King of Wands. Ten of Coins. We've got the Fool, the Magician, the Queen of Queens. So it's not in order, but this is quite a nice spring deck. The World, Page of Queens, Seven of Wands. So it's quite a beautiful deck and square. So another square deck is called the Trinity Tarot by Ari Weiser. This is actually a mass market deck. I don't know if it's still in print, but it's definitely mass market. Into the little white book. I love this deck, you know. It's square, it's very minimalistic, very simple. Back to the cards are lovely blue. Let's turn it around the right way. So the Star, Ten of Swords, the Proclaimer or the Hierophant, Six of Cups, Absolute Affirmations by Crystal Banner, 44 positive affirmation cards. This is a mass market deck. It's got I love my teeth. I am a decisive person. My teeth are strong and healthy. I bite into life with joy. Okay, this is Crystal Banner, the creator. She does both mass market and indie decks. Her artwork's quite simplistic. I advocate for myself. Take control of situations with confidence and allow your voice to be heard. Stand up for yourself. Others will respect and respond with consideration and acceptance. I make a positive impact. There's some at the back. 143. So no, actually it's got Heart 143. I choose love. I express gratitude and joy. So it's just, this is just basically a square oracle deck, which is really good for like daily pulls. I practice forgiveness. Love Your Body cards by Louise Hay. This is a Hay House deck. Square. And again, it's very similar to the other deck that I've just showed you, where it's got a picture with, you know, some quotes. I love my body. And then, my body is a glorious place to live. I marvel at the miracle that is my body. I keep my body healthy. And it's got I love my feet. I love my toes. I love my elbows. I love my fingers. So it's just like a, as it says, Love Your Body Oracle deck. I love my spine. Oh God, I love my genitals. I love my legs. So moving on to unusual shaped decks. This is where the playing cards are going to come in. So I've got quite a lot of unusual shaped playing cards, and I do use playing cards for divination. So the first deck is called the Affinity Tarot. This is a Lascara Bowl deck. It was mass market. It's now out of print. But the shape of it, in my opinion, is really unusual. Even the guidebook has got the affinity shape. So it's kind of Wild Rate inspired, but they're just in the shape of the affinity, and I think that's quite unusual for a tarot deck. This is the moon. Look at the backs of the cards. Set the cards this way so you can see the shape. They're also quite large and quite difficult to shuffle. You know, sometimes I do find that these unusual decks are, you know, even though they look pretty, they're kind of hard to shuffle and to lay out in a spread. They're quite thin, so I guess that if you're a riffle shuffler, you might find these cards easy to shuffle. This is the Ace of Wands, Two of Wands, Three of Wands, the Fool card, this is a Lenormand deck. It's called the Ghastly Lenormand from the Grave, and these cards are like coffin shape. The cards in the box are the shape of a coffin. They've got playing card associations. The backs of the cards are also a coffin. Very unusual deck. This is more of a Halloween deck actually, so I'll get this out at Halloween to use. But again, very difficult to shuffle, and you need quite a lot of space to read these cards with. Coffin, the bouquet. They're not named the archetype, but they're quite clear. You can see that's a scythe. And if you look at the playing card associations, they're also kind of skeletons. So it's a really well made deck. This is another Lenormand deck, and it's hexagon shape. It's called I think it's called the Honey Lenormand. Yeah, Honey Hive Lenormand by Jamie Sayer. Again, I find this deck quite difficult to work with because of the shape. I bought it because it was hexagon, but it's difficult to shuffle and everything, but a beautiful deck. So you got the letter, and the good thing about this deck is that you can lay the cards out. You know, they kind of can read like that, sort of thing if you want them to. You know, so you can read them in the shape. They're beautiful cards though. I like the artwork. And even the shape, it was the shape that inspired me to buy this deck. I like the fact that they were hexagon. They're kind of very similar to me to round decks, hexagon decks, in terms of directionality when you're reading the cards. So this is a Honey Hive, Lenormand. Right, let's have a look at some of my playing cards. So I've got the Powwow playing card, and these are in the shape of a bone, like a dog's bone. The backs, let's have a look. So you've got the 8 of clubs, or the 8 of wands if you want to read them like a minor arcana deck. The backs of the cards, I've got a dog on there, so they are supposed to be dog boned cards. Let's do it this way, I can get it on my camera, but they're quite an unusual shape, the shape of a bone. And if you do playing card divinations, this is quite a good deck to have. Quite a beautiful dog. So the court cards have got actual pictures of dogs on. The cat playing deck is from the same company. It's 52 cat decks. I don't know what you call this shape. Is it oblong, I think. Look at the backs of the cards, they're like cat size. It's stunning. Look at that. Stunning. And it's got the name of the cat as well, Havana Brown. So the breed of the cat is there. Absolutely gorgeous. So these playing cards are in the shape of flip-flops. It's actually called the flip-flop playing cards, or some people call them thongs, but when I was growing up these sort of shoes were called flip-flops. So the backs of the cards are of flip-flops, and they're multi kind of coloured, as you can see, different designs on there. It's just a normal set of playing cards. The numbers, the number can be read reverse, so if you want to read the cards that way, the numbers look the same, and that right as well. But I like the shape of these cards, and I think they're quite unusual. Quite a chirpy, quirky deck. Queen of Pentacles or the Queen of Diamonds. But I like to use my playing cards as minor arcana decks. So if I've got a major only deck, sometimes it's nice to pair it with a playing card deck. This deck here, this is mass market pizza playing cards. And I love that it comes in a nice little pizza box. And it's shaped like a slice of pizza, which I think is very unusual. Look at the backs of the cards, they look like pizzas as well. Pepperoni pizza. Absolutely gorgeous. So the next category that I want to show you are my small decks. I just bought a few. I mean, the word small is kind of open to interpretation. you know, is it a mini? Is it a pocket? You know, what do you call small? So my first deck that I want to show you is, I haven't opened this up actually. This is called the smallest tarot deck. These cards are the size of a stamp. Can you see if I bring up the camera closely? It's made by Musculine, and they're stamp size tarot cards. I haven't opened up this deck as such. I am going to be doing another video soon called decks in cellophane, because I've got a lot of decks that I haven't opened, and this was one of them. But you know, that they are the size of stamps, you know, very, very, very small. The next deck is a major only tarot deck. I could have actually used these cards for the unusual shape ones, but they are quite small as well. This is the creator who made the cards, Terry Efflick. And they're major only cards. Very small. They're actually smaller than a mini deck. These are the backs of the cards. It's Justice. The Wheel of Fortune. The Hangman. The Devil. The next deck, this is my handbag deck. It's called the, I think it's called the Lenormand. This is just like a mini size Lenormand. So if I compare the previous deck to this, can you see they're even smaller than what you would call a mini deck? I've also got this deck in like a normal standard playing card size, or is it bridge or whatever, bridge size. But I've had this deck for years, and it just lives in my handbag. I carry this deck around a lot. It's a nice sepia colour deck, Lenormand, a very clear reader, very, very accurate. I'm quite possessive with this deck, so I don't like people touching these cards, and this is a deck that I use for myself. So this is what I would call a small deck. Another Lenormand deck, which is Erica's Lenormand of Hope. And again, it's what I would call a mini deck. I do have quite a lot of mass market mini decks as well, but I didn't want to include them in this video because, you know, they're quite common. This is my Organs Tarot. I think it might be out of print, but it's a mass market deck. They're ginormous. Look at these cards. These are the backs. The black and white decks. That's a spirit card. So you've got the Sun. The Blood Gorgon. It's got a bit of red in there. The Moon. The Star. The Tower. So it's basically a black and white ginormous round deck, and it's a mass market deck. also got a smaller size that just came shrink wrapped. I actually bought it directly from Schiffer because I've never seen these on Amazon or any kind of market kind of website. So these are what I would call normal size, but they were described as mini. And I use these cards for love readings. They make very good love reading cards, because there's a separate guidebook for the Gorgon Tarot, which I will show you in a minute, and that concentrates on love readings. So because of that, I tend to use this smaller size. I mean, I wouldn't call it a small deck, but it's a lot smaller than the one that I've just showed you, the original deck. And again, it's exactly the same, but it didn't come with a guidebook, or it didn't come in a box. It was just shrink wrapped and sent to me. I don't know if these are still available to buy, actually. Look at the Devil card. It's got a bit of red in it. But all the other cards are black and white. This is this, let's bring it up for you to see. So this is the separate guidebook, a guide to tarot and relationships, and as you can see, they're using the Morgan Greer or Gorgon Greer deck, and it's a Schiffer published book, and it comes with a Schiffer bookmark, and it's a yeah, it gives meanings, love meanings for the deck. So that's what I tend to use a smaller size deck with. So the next tarot deck is called the Natural Ink Tarot, and I got this deck because, you know, the author used natural materials to create this deck. So that's what I liked about the deck. It was drawn or created using natural inks and stuff. So it's just basically a Rider-Waite-Smith inspired deck, but it's got like a nature feel about it. These are the backs of the cards. It's just gorgeous. I really like this colour palette. This is another mini deck that I forgot to show you. It's a beginner Lenormand deck with not keywords, but it's got like a little blurb explaining each card. When the creator sent me this deck, I can't remember what her name is. She was actually dying of cancer, and she made this deck for me on her deathbed. So this deck will always be important to me. So for example, the house, the playing card association is the King of Hearts. And it's got here family, home, property, estate, solid, small home, business, income, property, shelter, protected, safe and secure, etc., etc. But I can't remember the name of the creator because it came shrink wrapped. Okay, so this is another circle deck. And it's called the Circle Lenormand. It's got playing card associations, and this is a very clear reader. You know, like you can see this is a fox. That's the back of the cards. You know, you can see this is the garden. You can see this is the lilies. I like Lenormand decks that actually show what the archetype is with no fuss, because sometimes some Lenormand decks are really, really fussy. They've got a lot of background stuff going on, and you know, but this is just a very plain one. The rider, the scythe, the mice, the letter, beautiful deck, the cross, the crossroads, clover, absolutely gorgeous, the heart. It's an oracle deck, and I'm sure it came with a pamphlet book, but I don't know where I put it. And the reason why I think it came with a pamphlet book is because it's just got one word on the cards. This is called Deeper Knowing. I think it's called the Deeper Knowing Oracle, if I can remember. I've had this for quite a while. So, you know, they've got keywords at the bottom, repetition. But I'm sure there's a book for this, but it was more of a pamphlet style book, if I can recall. Totems. This is a very autumn deck. Creativity Cauldron. But I've got to find the guidebook for this because I can't use it on its own. I've had it for a very long time. So once I find the guidebook, I might actually start using this deck in the autumn. But I love the archetypes, shape-shifting. And if I can recall as well, I think it had some type of suits. That's why they're all colour-coded. Smoke and the Veil. Very interesting oracle deck. Another round deck. This is out of print. It's called the Tarot of the Cloisters, and it used to be mass market. It's in a box within a box. These cards are also quite large, but they're not as large as the Gorgon Tarot. It's a US Games deck, and it comes with a guidebook. I love this deck. The background is kind of like stained glass windows, but it's Rider-Waite inspired. And these are the backs of the cards. This has been out of print for many, many years, and I remember when there was a lot of fake decks. Unfortunately. This is a summer deck for me. Look at the sun card. It's absolutely gorgeous. It kind of reminds me as well, like some of the faces of the Morgan Tarot. You know, that kind of 70s kind of look. Hierophant. The Lovers. And the Chariot. This is another Lenormand deck, and it comes with a little guidebook, and it's called When Life Gives You Mangoes Lenormand deck. I haven't used this deck for quite a while. Actually a lot of the archetypes have been changed. So you've got the Cutlass, a warning of danger, accidents and hasty decisions. The Baby, new beginnings and learning old lessons. So that would be the child. Mr. Nancy symbolises cunning or innovative thinking and an energy of trickery. Fox. You've got the Killer Whale. You've got the Golden Apple. Jumping Lizards. So the cards have been renamed. The puppy would be the dog. The Yam Fields. That would be the garden, community, teamwork and networking. The mountains has been renamed the dormant volcano, obstacles to overcome. It's a really interesting deck. But the guidebook is small, but it's got a lot of information in there. Let's have a look at the card 22. So this will be the path in a regular Lenormand deck. Number 22, broken down to 4. So I guess you add 2 and 2 to make 4. Order, organizations, systemic, number of angels, foundation, hard work. Playing cards, Queen of Diamonds. So it has the playing card association in the book, but not on the actual cards. Sentence was in between, crossroads, decision to be made, and choices. So basically, this creator grew up in the Caribbean, and she gives her experiences for each choice. So she explains why she changed the card from the path to the fresh water and sea. And then this card can also indicate a crossroads, spirit that walks with you, or that it's time to leave an offering at the crossroads as you approach an important decision in your life. So it's a really nice deck. So my final round deck is called the Tarot Original Circle Edition, and it's just a basic Rider-Waite-Smith deck that is round. And this deck is a Lascara Bowl deck. It's quite... So if you're a Rider-Waite-Smith person, this is a nice round deck, in my opinion. Because most tarot choices are personal, aren't they? You know, what you might think is nice, another person might see as vomit, you know. I like this deck. These are the backs of the cards. So the final category is large decks. But before I show you my large decks, I want to show you this deck here. They're called Lenormand Towels. And these are also my mini decks. They're very, very small. And they're clear to read. So you've got the number of the Lenormand, a picture of the archetype, and the playing card association. So like card 4 is the house, and it's the King of Hearts. This deck is a very, very, very clear reader. This is a child, and it's the Jack of Spades. This is the fox and the clubs. So these are my Lenormand Towels, and they're, again, a very small deck. The first deck that I consider large is this deck here. It's called the Cap of Contemplation, and this is created by Julie. Her YouTube channel is called Peekaboo Rose. This is an unusual deck as well, because actual questions. So how am I living lightly? How can I be more loving? How can I care for my body? So what I do, if I use this deck, I normally put 3 Lenormand cards underneath it, or a tarot card here and a tarot card here, just to answer the question. So I think it's quite unusual that it's a question deck, you know, and you have to use it with other cards. Or these would be very good as well for journal prompts. And I love the back of the cards is a cup of hot coffee or hot tea. But it's a very nice deck, and you know, as I said before, you can use it as journal prompts, or you can use tarot or Lenormand cards to answer the question. It's beautiful. Another large deck is called the Hip Hop Tarot. These are quite large major arcana cards. I mean, some of the celebrities that I don't even know who they are. But I don't know, the backs of the cards really annoy me. So it's got the name of the publishing, the name of the tarot deck and the author on every single card, and it's quite annoying. The Magician is Schoolboy. Nicki Minaj is the High Priestess. Eve is the Empress. I wish this deck came with like a little white box so that you could see why the creator chose the celebrities for each card. I guess because Eve had problems conceiving her son, that's probably why she's the Empress. But some of these celebrities, I think they're American, I don't really know who they are. But I just read it as a normal major arcana tarot deck. But the cards are a bit on the large size. Look at that Strength card. The next deck is called the Universal Tarot. It's got here Professional Edition. I think this is a Musculine deck. Yep, it's Musculine. It comes with a, oops, I just broken the ribbon. Comes with a guidebook that gives you basic meanings for the cards. These cards are ginormous. I think these large cards are good for if you want to journal, do journaling, because you can really look at the details in the cards. But this is more of a study deck or a journal deck. They're too big to shuffle and use, in my opinion, as a normal tarot deck. And if you've got really large hands and you've got like a big reading space. But they're Rider-Waite inspired. And you know, like this is the Knight figure and that's the Wands. So it kind of gives you what the archetypes are. So this one is the Six of Cups. Got the cups there. It's the Major Arcana. These are ginormous cards, really, really big. And the final large tarot deck is the giant Rider-Waite Smith deck, which is a US Games deck. Even though it's big, it's a lot smaller than the other deck that I've just shown you. So it's just a Rider-Waite Smith deck, quite big. So this is another deck that's good for studying, you know, because all the details are enlarged, so you can really have a clear picture. So this deck would actually be good for a beginner that's learning tarot and wants to study and journal it, because you know it's really kind of big and you can see the pictures quite clear. Years ago when I used to go to tarot meetups, the tutor always had this deck. So thank you, Liz, for creating such a interesting tag. I will link in the description bar any decks that are still in print. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.